You guys, we're back. Another episode of Camp Time is Real Time in the books, about to be listened to. You're going to love it. This one is with John Saegh, the current music counselor. He was a camper back around the time that I was a camper. So we had some fun talking about back in the day. And I had some fun learning about what's happening nowadays in music. He also gave us our first ever live musical performance on the podcast, so I think you're really going to like that. And Ty and I kind of asked him about his process, his lesson planning for music, which was exciting to hear. And we just kind of got into everything, so you're really going to like this one. Couple other things, just housekeeping. Hey, send me an email. People are starting to email me. It's amazing. camptimefcdc@gmail.com. I would love to talk to you. And believe me, if you think there's even a small chance that someone wants to hear your camp story, you're right. Even if you don't think anyone wants to hear it, I bet they do. That's what we do here. We talk about camp. Also, give us a follow at camptime _realtime over on Instagram. You're all on the journey with me as I learn how to use the various features on Instagram because I'm a cool, hip millennial. That's it for this one. Enjoy, and we'll see you next time.
You know about the green hats, Sarah? Do you know what they are?
So I have one.
You do?
Yeah, but I think I got it before it was like there were like years attached to them, kind of. Is that when do you tell me how you get the green hat? Actually,
I think you have to be a counselor for 5 years.
Okay.
There's multiple paths.
There's multiple paths. Okay, so John, it sounds like you're the better.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I was counting on the days of the calendar till I got mine. So the traditional path is from camper through CIT to assistant to head. They get their green cap after 2 years of being a head if they go through the CIT.
Okay.
And outside hire, 3 years.
3.
Okay.
As a head.
Okay.
There was 1 year, I think it was John's second year, that he was waiting to get, he was like hoping that maybe they would bend a rule for him. I remember there was.
Well, because I was a camper.
He thought maybe, just maybe, but you got it on the third one.
Well, that's what I was going to ask, because you weren't just a camper. You were like a known camper, I would say. And that's gonna count for something.
I basically started in 85 as an Algonquin.
Oh.
Okay.
Did 2 sessions my Algonquin year, FCDC 13. And then I was a 3-session camper for the rest all the way through Explorer.
So who were some of the who would we know like as like campers or counselors?
Okay, I was in the same class as Craig Warby.
Oh,
and
okay. Yeah.
Jonathan Crudale.
I remember you were like a camper that I knew of, which I feel like was rare. Like the campers outside of your tribe, it was just like, yeah, you don't really exist unless they're like 6-weekers or like are up at Sing or something like that.
Well, that was me on both.
Yeah. And then
are always up at Sing.
Well, there's a lot of contributing factors, but I look back on it and I'm not sure 13-year-old me was ready. Fast forward all those years later, and then my kid starts going.
The retribution.
And I'm a school teacher, so I have the summers off.
Perfect.
And just started shooting the breeze with Tom when I was picking my kid up. And then started I made a couple visits to Sing. I used to sing a Weird Al song back in the 80s.
Yeah, lasagna. I remember.
Yeah.
We know.
Okay. So I did that with my son, who's now 16 and an assistant there also.
Oh my gosh.
When he was like a Navajo or a Cherokee or something. And I did that for a few summers, and then there was an opening, and Tom gave me the call.
That's awesome.
I did one summer at the pool,
Oh,
and then landed at music, and I've been there ever since.
nice. So were you, did your kids start going early, like tenderfeet age or?
No, my son went, he started as a Shawnee, and my daughter started as a tenderfoot.
So were you, that first year that you brought your kids there, like what stood out to you when you pulled up that first time?
Picking them up was amazing. As I was driving in, I see Sam Cowell walk into his car. Now, I hadn't seen Sam Cowell since 92.
Right.
When or he was like 14.
Right.
But I instantly recognized him, and he instantly recognized me. And we had an awesome exchange, and then I pulled up and I went up and I saw John Panciaco, and I walked up to him, and it was surreal because he was a big part of my childhood, and I hadn't seen him in like 26 years or something at the time. So it was really awesome seeing John Panciaco, seeing Sam. I was in my car, so I didn't really talk to Sam much. Like I'm driving or whatever. But once I got out, I saw John Panciaco instantly, and that was really, really cool for me. And when I was working, I was very, very fortunate to get to work with him for a few years. He was a big part of my childhood. At FCDC, he was there as a counselor. He was the archery counselor for most of my childhood.
Yeah. Was it, so I'm finding in doing this that even though I'm an adult now in age anyway, I still have the same, like the counselors who were my counselors growing up. They like hold them out to be like on a pedestal.
Tell me about it. When I went to Sam's, the cookout, the first year that I was working there, Tom took me into his house and toured through his house. And I'm like, it was one of those times where I was happy to say, sometimes you hear that phrase, don't meet your heroes or whatever, but not with Tom Cowell. Like it's pretty awesome because it was a huge part of my childhood, and it shaped the adult that I turned out to be in a lot of ways, and to get to experience it now as an adult, a full-blown adult. My kids are there, and my daughter, she's at her oldest age of a camper this year, and she started as a tenderfoot. Oh, so her whole childhood is infused with FCDC as well.
Were you surprised at all at the number of people that you recognized that first year that you dropped your kids off? Like,
more surprised when people I recognized kids are there.
Sure.
There was actually more of that than actual people I remember. Mm-hmm. So I remember, John Panciaco and Sam, mm-hmm. but that's kind of it. Like, everybody else that was there, Kelly Giddings was there like my last year as a camper.
Okay.
And I always just associated Kim with the pool. I don't know if you remember Kim, the longtime lifeguard before.
Yeah.
Kelly. So Kim was always the lifeguard in my mind. But I kind of remember Kelly. I definitely remember Eric. But Eric's not even like working there. Right. But I would see him, because he would come by and everything. So I remember that. So there's a lot of people. Sue, I know Sue, Gail, Tom, Sam, and John Panciaco from my childhood.
Yeah.
But I would see then parents. Craig Warby came as a parent. Heather from Ceramics.
Yeah.
Her kids will work there. She would come as a parent. John Saegh, I think his last name is. He was the music counselor when I was a camper.
Oh yeah, Bill mentioned him. Yeah.
He came to camp. His niece was a camper there, and oh man, he really inspired me. I'm the music counselor now, and he like the way that he did it is so much better than the way I pull it off. But he used to like just pull all us campers aside and with an acoustic guitar and play like Beatles songs for like half an hour. And that was it. And that was like
all I did.
So I thought that's what it would be. Mm-hmm. And I like know all these Beatles songs now, and I'm not like horrible, but like the kids just are like, they're good for like 3 minutes of that.
Right. Yeah. One song. Yeah.
and then I kind of run music now, kind of like a little bit like a teacher. Like I have a few different, like first I have the opener where I'll literally just try and shoot the breeze with the kids for like 5 minutes, ask them what was their favorite part to sing yesterday or earlier that day or whatever. Then I'll try to actually like, okay, let's engage with an actual camp song. Here are the words. Here are the hand motions. Do you want to do this on Sing later this week? You know, stuff like that. Then we go to the games portion of the activity where I try to have a few ready to go, a few quiet, soft ones, and a few running around, get the energy one out. And then like, usually I try to make it go like we're having really an awesome time. And then the bell rings and it's like, well, we'll have to pick this up next time. But it doesn't always work out like that.
That's a good schedule that way. I think you like that.
That's more of a plan than I ever had at any activity that I ran. So congratulations.
Oh, man. I'm not going to say horrible anxiety, but I can only take so much of pure chaos.
Oh, you shouldn't run this podcast then.
I like controlled chaos.
Sure.
Much better than pure chaos.
Sure. Can I ask, for music, is it still just the younger half of camp has it, or does everyone have music?
Sam stepped it up. Sam changed it. I used to have, the first year I did music, I had all these preps like free. Like, yeah. I'm like, whoa, how'd I get like 5 free? It was great. I would go to adventure. I go to boating. Like,
yeah, I was so jealous of that schedule.
But the schedule exists no longer. It is now, the free periods are much more equitably spread now. And, sure. And I do take the older tribes now. I will say, I definitely make a much stronger connection with the junior campers and the youngest 2 tribes in music. And the awesome moments with the older kids are a little bit fewer than the junior camper kids.
Right.
But I still have the moments, and especially depending on the tribe. Like sometimes you just have like an awesome older group of kids that like will be like chill to be silly.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
So
you can break those down, break those kids down until they're ready to be silly again.
Yeah. So you know, we sort of like Sam introduced the idea of rap battle, which I would then try to do with the older kids, because we have the bows and the microphone and whatever. We get you are a little bit flirting with danger sometimes with that, giving the kids the microphone and their explicit purpose is to wreck the other person.
Yeah, it goes against FCDC values, but in a good way.
Yeah, but well, see, it's a fine, it's a tough line. But with the junior campers, oh my goodness, I love the junior campers, because they're like, I can make like teaching like the green grass. Some of them start trailing off a little in the end, you know, once we get down to the egg or whatever, but you know, they're so into it.
It sounds like you're definitely teaching camp classics. Are you bringing new stuff that are camp songs, or are like just songs that the kids should know, or what are you bringing?
So what I bring, as you may remember, I did Lasagna back then, that Weird Al song.
Of course.
So I kind of have the role of the song parody guy a little bit. I don't write enough of them to really hold that title great, but I try to write one. I try to write 1 or 2 each summer. And my first summer I wrote, my first summer as the music guy. I don't know if I did one when I was at the pool. Yeah. I did my first summer back. I was, my first summer as a music counselor, I took Black Hole Sun and wrote Big Toe Thumb, which turned into this whole thing. It was even actually the best skit that I've ever done.
Because it was like three like iterations of the skit until it got better and better and better until it was finally at like the greatest. I think you can retire it now because it's just, you really hit.
Actually, I was thinking about like every show. It's Big Toe Thumb again.
Yeah, it's good. Yes.
So what is it? What is the skit?
And oh my goodness! So the song is about my friend. Well, it's a made up story, sort of. It's a sort of story that I kind of ganked from a friend. Okay. He lost a thumb and got a toe surgically. Oh. But the song, you know, I wanted to write like campy lyrics. So had a friend, lost his thumb, and oh my God, my campus, she was amazing. She had this little and it's almost like we ganked it right out of the Zootopia movie, but she had this little red streamer in her pocket. And I said, I had this friend who lost her thumb. And she like throws it out of her pocket. She's like, yeah, my thumb. And then the doctor had a plan. They attach a toe to his hand. I almost want to get my guitar right now. But
I think you should.
In the town where I'm from, I had a friend who lost her thumb, but her doctor had a plan. They attached a toe to her hand. Down the street, there was a gang. Having thumb wars was a thing. They bullied us without yield till one day my friend was healed. Big Toe Thumb, you're number one. You win every thumb war. Big Toe Thumb, you're number one. Number one. Big Toe Thumb. Big Toe Thumb. And that's pretty much the song. So the premise goes, friend loses his thumb. There's this gang of bullies, and their means of extortion is thumb wars.
Sure. Yeah.
So
classic.
Then our friend comes back from the hospital, and you know, she just dominates in thumb war, saves the day, and at the end, all of the bullies realize that the power of friendship is more important than bullying, and everyone becomes friends at the end. It was like,
that's it.
It was like the greatest skit that I'd ever really done. And then
that's amazing.
And then the next summer, instead of Back on the Chain Gang, Ty was a part of this, but only in choreography. And, well, actually, he led the crowd too. And he was like the hype guy.
Sure.
Instead of Back on the Chain Gang, Kids with the Same Name. And it was all about how the CITs that have the same name as somebody else get like a 2 or a 3, right? And then we had the whole thing, song and dance. And then last year, I did, you know the song Good by Better Than Ezra?
Of course.
I wrote a song about waffles. The waffles line was instead of like that, it was like, oh, waffles, they are good with dried zucchini waffles. But this one was actually the best I'd ever done because I solicited lyrics from the campers.
Ooh.
And that was like a music activity for a whole session. At least once.
So smart.
And but I gave it structure. Remember how I said like I like the ordered chaos?
Mm-hmm.
To make it work that everyone could sing, I challenged them. It's got to be 4 syllables.
Ooh.
And that kind of gave it what I needed, so the kids weren't being like so ridiculous.
Yep.
And it got to the point where they were like, "That's 5 syllables." Like, oh well, you got me. That's right. And like.
Wow.
But it worked out really great. And then I called a bunch of kids from a bunch of different tribes to call out their crazy waffle topping, and then we ran through it.
Oh my God.
That's it.
Do you have a scoop on any songs brewing in your head right now, or?
No, I'm actually completely dropped the ball because last year Waffles was already almost the concept was well underway by March. And
you've got some time, John. It's okay. It's only March right now. But I think you're doing the important work out there by bringing in the 90s alt scene to the camp audience. I don't think they would ever know it better than Ezra or Chris Cornell before you.
They still, for all those kids, no, dude, I wrote that song. but then the counselors sort of like some of the older ones get the tune.
Not even the counselors at this point. I know. They did the really fun competition where it was name that tune, but you picked all the songs for the Gen Z audience. It was maybe the funniest thing I've ever seen because none of them seemed to understand Nirvana or like the Counting Crows or anything. It was ridiculous, but I thought it was important that they learn, and boy, were they red in the face about it.
It was, I think the moment was because I had actually tried to, I flat out cheated. I tried to throw one to my team, and I played some obscure 90s songs, like songs that anyone who was from the 90s would know, but these kids,
right?
Like It Must Have Been Love by like the Roxette or whatever. So I thought, okay, still got to be in the same wheelhouse genre, but let me throw a meatball to my team. Smells Like Teen Spirit. Now, even though my team didn't get it, half the camp did get it. Like the crowd was up in arms. They knew that I was throwing it for my team, but then all the people that were on my team, not a single one knew the song.
No, I think it was just like the smartest choice of Sam. Like, let John pick the music. And then I'm gonna pick these Gen Z kids, and it will never connect. What's it like having? What was the transition for Mason to go into CIT Hood and above, and all of a sudden he's your coworker? What was that feeling?
I asked Sam, give me Mason.
Yeah.
And by the way, my favorite assistant ever, and it's one, totally biased, but two, Ty mentioned it. The kid's a musical genius.
Yeah.
Like he's so creative too. I'm like, Mason, I don't know. And he's so great with these little kids. He'll go over to the piano and start being like weird and goofy. And then the kids are just like drawn to him in a way that my other assistants are nothing against any of my other assistants. Of course, they're so many great kids, but
they're listening right now. Be careful, John.
They're not. Mason, he was my favorite assistant ever because he thinks so out of the box and he's so musical, and I just love his little personality anyways. And I know I'm wicked biased, but
hold on, are we still doing Butterfingers or is that done?
No,
Sam changed
genre,
it up.
New years.
Sam made it his own and changed the Payday candy bar. And I gotta say, at first I was like, man, I love Butterfingers. What the hey? But then when I got a Payday and I ate it, it works. Oh yeah.
And Butterfingers are still delicious and still campy, but like Paydays also taste just as sweet.
And now we have Payday fingers, of course, because if you drop it, it was really awesome because it was still a camp thing that carried over. But I love how Sam made it his own, and he's done that in a few places that I've seen. That I'm just like amazed by what he does every summer.
What are that's very interesting to me. What are some of the things, and maybe Ty, you can jump in with them too, that the tweaks that he's made?
Like the way we do the shows sometimes. We did one year where we got to do two troops together every other week, which was kind of like a really cool way of just doing a little bit of a difference and a little bit of a change.
When Sam was starting it, when Sam was a counselor, he had a tribe cheer, turns into troop cheer. And then when he kind of took the role over, he wanted some of the troops or tribes at the time, the older kids, to come up with their little cheer.
Okay.
And I feel like I really embraced that. I was kind of like a follower a little bit in the tribe cheer for a year or two, but I found my own with the Chippewa cheer.
Yeah.
And really owned it. Came out of the gun swinging with the Sparrow cheer this year.
Yeah.
I mean, almost everybody's cheer was like kind of ripping mine off, which I loved.
The trendsetter. He's a trendsetter. What do the Chippewa one for us?
It was like, oh man, what did I say? Like, and then all the kids would go Chippewas. It was sort of like this guitar, like wow, chicka wow, Chippewa type of. And I was like, and it got short, but it was just like this loud thing that I did, like a guitar thing, and then the kids would yell Chippewa.
And what's the Sparrow one?
In the sky, and they go sparrows.
One of my favorite things is last year he had a running bit where he would apologize to people and like make it so like it's okay to have to apologize sometimes. And he has the most like genuine like apology face whenever he does it. Like, I am so sorry. Like, and he's just like, you hear it and you're like, of course, and everyone melts from it.
I learned how, one of the main reasons I wanted to play guitar too, John Saegh had a big influence me, those Beatles songs that he used to play at FCDC.
Mm-hmm.
Like that I didn't ever learn how to play guitar at the time as a camper, but it definitely influenced me. Shortly after, when I was in high school, I started playing and haven't stopped.
Do you know, when I was in 5th grade, it was the first year we could like pick an instrument to play. And I was like, I want to play the trumpet because I want to learn how to play reveille and taps.
Yeah. Did it work out?
No, didn't stick. but I was like, oh, I know what instrument I need. I need the trumpet. 100%.
I love it when Mary plays the trumpet.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Good musicians playing.
Absolutely. John, did you do overnight? Were you a camper for overnight?
Oh yeah. Yes. In fact, I think my last summer as a camper was the last overnight summer.
Okay. Yep.
Because I remember when I came back being surprised that overnight had gone away. Overnights were the best.
Yep.
I mean, from start to finish, like after all the kids left, like I don't even remember all the things they did. There was so many. There were these big camp-wide manhunt games. There was this awesome show the counselors put on down at the theater. There was the bonfire. There was the free swim breakfast where there was just like all these boxes of cereal and the bonfire was still going. And then kids were in the pool and we all had our tents to do and the fire would go all night long and we didn't get any sleep. And oh man, the overnights were like camp is amazing. The overnights were my lasting memory of my absolute favorite part of camp. My absolute favorite part of camp were the overnights.
They were amazing. Yeah. I'm sorry, Tom.
What happens
they were awesome.
on overnights in that first hour that the younger kids leave and then like you're there? Like what's that first hour of an overnight like?
So I think it was more free swim.
Okay, cool.
And then we went out to the campsites and had dinner. Like we ate a campfire meal, like cookout again. And then we would go, I don't know the order of things. I might be mixing it up. Like the game may have happened before we eat, but we ate when it was still light out.
Yeah.
We were down at the theater at dusk. By the time the show was over, it was nighttime. Then we go up the hill to the bonfire.
Yep.
After the bonfire, the torches back to the sites in the woods.
Right. Yeah.
Everybody had a torch and you could see it if you were one of
that wood area.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So when you're the older camper, you stay up at the fire till the end and you can see the line of them going into the forest. It was really cool. I've been the music counselor for like 4 years in a row. which is almost like half the total amount of time that a kid could even be a camper. Like I think about time in adult terms, but like when you're that old, like this is your whole friggin' life so far.
Yeah. Yep.
And so I'm already like, for some kids, like the only music counselor they've ever known, which is really weird too, because I think there's a lot of really much more talented than me music counselors before me that I had big shoes to fill. And
but you know what? Freddie mentioned this, how one of his goals was to be known as the pioneering counselor. So he's like, growing up, like John was adventure, and he's like, I want the kids to know me as adventure. And you're right, 4 years, like that's basically a whole camp lifetime. So I think you've got that.
And this is interesting too, because I talked to Tom about Jerry, the video guy from when I was a kid, and evidently, like he only worked there for like 5 years. Which as an adult or something, I may have the exact details wrong or whatever. As an adult, I'm like, oh, that's nothing. But that like he was the only guy my whole childhood, it feels like.
I think especially for the music counselor too, because you have the best seat in the house during sing. You get to be up on the tabletop for every single sing.
I love it once in a while when I get to be in the crowd.
Yeah.
Like when we did Counselor Switch Day and I was like out there with the tribe and I was true. And I'm like raising my hand and everything. Oh, it's kind of cool.
What a change.
Do you have a tribe as the music counselor?
Oh yeah. I had the Sparrows. I had the Chippewas and now I have the Sparrows.
Okay, cool. Same age, like 9. Okay, cool. Oh, Dead Ants. What is your go-to like riff, or do you switch it up?
Yeah,
switch it up?
It'd be easier if I had a go-to riff, because sometimes I'm like, oh, what do I play this time? I don't know. Here we go. And sometimes I don't even know, and I'll just like my hands will just hit random chords, and then I'll try to remember those same 4 chords and do it again. Like, I wish I had a standby for Dead Ants. I've tried to learn a few standbys. I tried to learn the Say It's Your Birthday. I learned that little riff on guitar, the FCDC Kid tune. My first summer, I was digging through the memory banks. We didn't even have the tent. We sat out on the blacktop for sing.
Ooh.
Baking in the sun.
Oh, I don't remember that. I remember the tent with the green and white stripes on it. That came my second year. That was not there my Algonquin year. That was there for FCDC 14, which was 86. Wow. That's hot. That's a good move on Gail's part. Let's get them a tent.
Oh yeah.
That's a lot. I'll say, John, as a parent with a kid there, it's and Bill and I talked about this too. When I was a counselor, it definitely felt like the camp was, when we were counselors, we felt like the camp was for us. And if the kids had a good time, then also good for them, but it wasn't our priority. But talking to you and Ty and so many people who are there now, it's like, it's very clear that the counselors have assumed what their role actually is. It just like hearing even just your like music lesson plan, however, like, like we'll play it by ear. Maybe I'm like, that sounds amazing. Yeah. But like, again, so that should give you an idea of how much I was planning where I'm like, wow, look at this beacon of organization. It just like the camp is in such good hands. And like, that is very cool obviously from a parent perspective, but like from everyone who's there, it's like you guys get to go there 30 days a year and you're putting together this like amazing thing that everyone is benefiting from. I dare say more than when I was there. So that's good. So it makes me very happy. So I'm just,
and it all funnels down from the top. Like Sam makes it really fun for the counselors, and the counselors make it really fun for the kids, and the kids make it really fun for everyone, and it's symbiotic.
Yeah.
Because there's still a level of it's fun for the counselors, for us.
It's just fun for
There's
us.
definitely a level of that.
Right.
But it's still fun for the campus too, because we make it fun for them. So like, you know, maybe a couple of us do something the night before and we have some fun with it. Yeah. And then we kind of bring it as a joke for us. But then before we know it, like it can still be a fun thing for the kids too. I don't want to get it too much into details, but we've had a few moments where maybe we'll play like Duck, Duck, Goose at at Flag the next morning, just because we really shouldn't. And that kind of makes it fun and the kids get a kick out of it for a minute.
Well, yeah, there's nothing better when the kids think they're in on the inside joke that the counselors have. They're like, oh yeah, I know why you have to do head, shoulders, knees, and toes at 7 or 9 a.m.
Yeah,
I know what happened.
Knees and toes.
Yeah, exactly.
What about your swim time? Being part of the pool.
That was awesome, but tough for me. So I pretty much would just let Rachel handle the lesson part, and then I would kind of assist. It's like, oh yeah, I'll just sort of assist this 20-year-old, who clearly knows what she's doing. So we'll just let her take care of it. The pool was nice because I didn't have to plan anything. Yeah, like I was just kind of like, you just tell me whatever you want me to do. You just tell me, and I'll just do it. And it was kind of nice on that level. Like I certainly didn't have a super, in terms of the pool crew, I had the least responsibility of a actual counselor. Rachel knew I worked with Rachel the whole summer. She knew exactly what she was doing. And I would just sort of like follow her lead, and I could show the kids the strokes, and I had no problem getting in the water. So that was a really fun summer. I had older campers that summer too. I had the Choctaws.
Great.
You did.
That's great.
I think of you as like a younger camper counselor.
Oh, I love the age I'm at now for being a music counselor.
But that's one of the cool things about camp is that you can, as like a professional adult, go to camp and be on the same playing field as someone who's your coworker who's at high school. And it's not like a power or anything. It's like, oh, we're all the same.
But yeah, I love it. I mean, I'll ask the 13-year-old CIT, hey, do you have any good ideas for a game that we can do incorporating music and whatever? And I've gotten a lot of good suggestions from CITs in the past, you know? Yeah. And a lot of them CITs. We're going to have CITs in our activity this year, I hope, right?
God, I know, we need them.
We did not have activity CITs last year. It was a little bit of a struggle.
There was such a small group of CITs last year. It was only one age group of CITs, and they were pretty much used in the junior camp and then to walk the kids around. And
bare minimum. Skeleton crew CITs for sure.
Hey, that was my class. We had 6. Like back in the day, it was a much smaller, and it would be junior camp and then just Algonquins, Comanches, and that's it. Yeah. And that was it.
For me, it's not that I needed the CIT. I mean, it's always nice to have a CIT, but I just didn't get to know the CITs as well that year because of that. I would really get to know one when they would be part of my troop.
Right.
I didn't even have one just to eat lunch with last year.
So is there going to be like a pile up this year for CITs?
It's a really tough year to get in.
It's going to be a selective year.
Anything else we want to get on the record?
Jeez, I don't know. I was there for Shaolin. Were you there for Shaolin?
Yes, I was there for Shaolin. And I always bring it up. I'm like, did you know we did Shaolin?
And Judy drove me and my brother that whole summer too.
Come on.
We got to know her really well.
You Judy?
Wait, did she drive a Camaro? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so funny that you remember the car of the counselor that was. I know.
Yeah.
It's like we came back one year and they're like, surprise, new activity. It's martial arts. And that was it.
And then the year later, one summer, one and done.
Gone.
Oh, Ty, this is this is just a little side thing because, it took me a minute, but only a minute. Like I really embraced sparrows as the troop name, like real quick. And I loved Chippewas. So, but right after camp, in my third session, kids, like it got a little emotional there at the end. The day after camp, this little flock of sparrows came to my house, and they were like picking at their grubs and stuff or whatever. But I don't know. I felt like I had this little moment. This little flock of sparrows came to say hi. It was literally like the day after camp.